fine, Formula D. A beautiful racing game. I would argue.
I'm probably out of shot.
I would argue there's only one racing game. I'd argue there's only one racing game that I've played that comes close to it, and that's Tortoise in the Hare.
Spoilers.
Right. Sod Formula D. I'm bringing Tortoise in the Hare in now.
But Formula D,
Formula D.
Is a roll and move game.
Yes.
Do you know? It is what every roll and move game wishes it was.
Yes.
It's decidedly old school in that respect.
Yeah.
But it's like the term roll and move is a dirty term.
Yeah.
It's like miss a go.
Yeah, but
do you know what I mean?
But
it works.
It is racing. It's racing.
We've just watched you play Forza, right?
Yeah.
And you've gone around a corner too fast and spun out. This
that
game
happens.
gets this. Like this game teaches you to fear corners.
Yeah. Don't go into the corner too fast, kids.
When I'm on the road, I go as fast as I can on the straights, and then
Oh, it's okay. I can go through this one. I only take 1 point of damage.
I'm like, why does it tell me how many stops I need to make?
It does Formula 1 racing, like sports racing, as well as it does street racing.
But I'm not a fan of Formula 1 racing in real life. I don't know anything about it. And I would say that this is, to Formula 1 racing, what NHL hits is to ice hockey.
Yeah.
Like, this is the arcade version of Formula 1 racing, which, let's be honest, is what most people would want to play, because Formula 1 racing wouldn't necessarily make the best board game ever. Like, far more people are able to pick up and enjoy this than like something that was like, oh, now go and change your tyres. And
for the Formula 1 fans out there,
it's still a nice.
Well, and the Formula 1 tracks are designed on the actual tracks. You know.
First, there isn't a Top Gear track.
Yeah.
I bet there's a fan made one.
Yeah. But I said the Formula 1 tracks are the actual Formula 1 tracks. And that's just like your vanilla racing, right? You roll, you move, you go around the track,
change your gears. That's the big thing, isn't it? Like in the original game, Formula Day, they don't have the gearboxes.
All right.
It's just like a print off.
Yeah.
And you just move the token and stuff. But like that little like moving it down, there is something. Shotgun sit down. Pretentious moment. Tactile and enjoyable.
I was about to say the word tactile, but I can't remember what it was. So.
There's enough risk and reward in it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, can I risk taking this corner in fourth gear?
That's my meeple.
There's a 1 in 6 chance that I'm gonna spin out, or overshoot the corner.
Oh, only an 8 will mean that I.
Only an 8 will mean that I don't make the corner, and so I've got to slow down really heavily next turn. But anything else, I'm fine.
I mean, we said earlier on about like ghost stories and like stand-up moments. Like this game is the definition of what on earth? How did I roll that? Or like last time we played what 7 people?
Yeah.
And it was your birthday and we were coming into the last straight and I was like, okay, an 18, a 19 or a 20 wins me the game. Roll. Oh my god! And it was just, but it's not. Personally, I never felt like, I don't. That was so lucky that I didn't enjoy it because the game itself is
because stories really do develop during the game.
Yeah.
You'll start off. I mean, it's a game for more people than less. As well, like it plays better the more people that are involved.
I think that can sometimes be a bit of a downfall.
It can
as well.
In what regard?
Because I think when there are more people, there's a sense of downtime if you play in a certain way. Like we've had to come to
we've got a house rule.
Yeah, we've come to an agreement with a house rule where once you've rolled the dice and you start moving.
It's like chess. You've got to go. You roll and you move.
Because there have been times where maybe I don't know. I can't remember how many people we've had here in total, but maybe we've had 6 or 7 people, 8 people here, and there are times where you sit there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I know it's a
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I know it's a valid complaint of some people that have played the game in our group, where it's like, this just takes too long, and then it loses that enjoyment factor.
It doesn't feel fast.
It doesn't feel like you're playing a Formula 1 game.
Yeah.
And I think if you play it in that methodical style, sure, you're going to race around the track and you're going to hit all the corners perfectly and things like that, probably. But I think it takes out that little bit of like daring.
However,
it becomes more Formula 1 than it does Fast and the Furious kind of thing. So.
I think one of the problems is that a lot of the times we've played it, because it's a large player game, we've been teaching somebody, and it's not fair to teach somebody and say, you've just got to move.
Maybe.
I've played the game 5 times, and I know that I need to move this way. You've not played.
But we did get to the point where the last time we played this, where everybody knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah,
and it worked really well.
Yeah.
So
But I think it's interesting if when you first play it, like we did, and you do that slow sort of thing, there might have been people in our group who might have been like, you know what, actually, I don't like Formula D because it takes too long. But then as a group, we've sort of evolved into playing that house rule. I almost wish that was in the rulebook. Like, hey, variant, suggested variant. Once you pop, you just can't stop.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to go when you go. And so we had several times in our game where we both went, but you've just got to be like, you know what, I've just got to go with it.
Yeah. So. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on this as well are, but there have been a couple of games. Well, I think it was maybe just one game where there was maybe 6 of us playing, and 3 people went out quite early. And once you're out, you're out.
Yeah.
Another dirty word.
Yeah.
So
player elimination.
Yeah. So it's got a player elimination aspect to it, and the game is going to last an hour and a half. And those people are out half an hour in. They're going to have to go off and do something else.
Yeah, there is a player. That is possibly the one negative that I could draw from this. That is one negative. I mean, yes, you do get that player elimination, but it's rare enough that it doesn't happen.
I think once you get to know the game. I think learning the game, you could be eliminated, quote unquote, through no fault of your own because you didn't know better. However, once you've played the game enough times, most of the time, if you're dying, you've pushed it too far. Yeah. You've pushed your luck too far. Now, if that means that you're dead in the first 10 minutes...
I'd say once you've tried once, you know, just
the game would lose so much if it didn't have player elimination.
Yeah.
Like, if it was just... Even if it was you spun out, right? There have been times in races where first has been so far ahead that if their dying was spinning out, they'd still be in the lead. Yeah. And there wouldn't be that same risk. Yeah. Whereas because anyone can die, like even the body, like when you roll collisions, it's a 1 in 20. And you lose your first point body. Oh, that's frustrating. And you lose your second, and then every time that dice rolls, I've been killed 10 minutes into a game. Yeah. Before with the variant races that I don't like. But
I'm actually going to ask about the variant races because obviously I've never played with them, but you guys have. Yeah. Do you think they add anything? Because from what I heard, I don't think they add too much.
But they're not balanced at all. Yeah, they're not balanced. The game is technically balanced in that it's all luck. But once you throw in like, hey, my guy's power is objectively better than yours. Yeah. Like, it's a shame because, like, it could have been good, but it's a really hard game to balance. Like a tight racing game, because it is pretty tight. It's hard to balance with like wacky Mario Kart style powers.
I mean, because I think we've actually had quite a lot of fun playing the streetcar levels. Yeah. But without the additional.
That's what I'm saying. The streetcar levels work just as well without. The streetcar races work just as well without.
With the extra characters.
Without the extra characters, like you can just play the.
I think if you want individuality, you play the design your own car variant. So you say, hey, I'm going to take my body down to 2, but I'm going to have extra tyres so I can push my luck a bit more. But heaven help me if I get a collision or something.
And as stories develop, so even if you're not vying for first place, like. That you're still having a race with somebody else on the table, not like to come in third.
This is one of the best games for I don't mind I didn't come first. Yeah. You know, like we talk about games where like Caverna or something where like you make a farm. Oh, it doesn't matter that I didn't win, man, because I've made this. Or like through the ages,
hey, my thing is a glip of something pretentious to say.
Or like through the ages, like in the rulebook, it's like, whoever's got the most culture has won, but the most important thing is that you told your story there. Yeah. And that's true, right? But in Formula D, you have nothing to show for what you've done. Yeah. Yet, you're like, I better be bloody fourth. You know, like, I don't mind if I'm not first as long as I'm beating someone. Yes. Do you know what
No, I think it plays really well with big numbers. I mean, I don't think we play it as 3-player. There's no. Yeah.
If you'd play it 3-player, I think you'd have to play like 2 cars each.
Yeah.
And play it like my team.
To be fair, though, at that level, I don't think you'd even bother playing the game.
No, there's better choices, aren't there, with 3 players? But with 8 players,
with 8 players,
7 players, that's a really awkward game.
But then again, can you also consider that to be a potential downside of the game? That you need to have a big number of players.
Like 100%, I agree.
To get the most enjoyment out of it, you need to have maybe 5 up. Don't you? I guess.
But
I would agree.
It's a party game, though.
It is a party game.
It is a party game.
It's a gamer's. It's a game you can play with a small party's amount of people.
Yeah.
Rather than a party game.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't bring this to a party. You could take Jungle Speed or Codenames to a party.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
but you mean more? It's a relaxed kind of.
Well, it's just a larger number.
Large number of people.
So in that regard, like it's really, really helpful in our collection, and I think like I feel really guilty because both of you have had board games that you've mentioned already. Like this is like when you unfold that board. Oh my god, it's so cool! And like the little like matchsticks style cars, like they are so.
I
cool.
think this game could have been one of those games where the production quality was lowered to make the price point easier.
Yeah.
But they went that little extra. I mean, they're still thin plastic things, and they're all like.
Oh, but they're so
reasonably bad molded cars, effectively, when you think about it.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have little tiny cars rather than cubes or like
all cardboard shit,
things of wood that are in triangles or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
The fact that they've gone that extra bit and they've made the gear stick, which feels good to move.
And anything, the board's quite linen, isn't it?
Anything
that has, it's a high quality board.
Anything that has polyhedral dice in it,
immediately
gets higher up on anything. Because I'm sick of seeing D6s when I could see D10s and D20s and D10s.
And
even though they're not.
The lure of those bigger dice.
Yeah,
because you're like, I'm gonna roll gear 6.
Like if you even if you play like a game like if you for some reason I'm thinking like Eclipse, right? When you've got like your basic lasers and they're red, and then you get your plasma lasers and they're orange, and you get your fusion blasters and they're red, and you're like, oh, he's rolling the red dice, but they're still D6. Whereas the rare times in this game where someone's got up to 6th gear and rolls that D30 in earnest, and everyone goes, ooh, because it's like,
and the dice get bigger as well. That's the thing. Like, so
I don't think they don't actually get like the D30 is big, but the D20 is a normal D20, I think.
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean,
they're
it's
all
numbered different.
They're all regular polyhedral.
But they've got more sides.
Yeah,
they actually have more sides.
And that helped for me. It helps build that feeling of speed.
Yeah. Although I always thought before I played the game that it was a normal D20, so it was like you just had the possibility of rolling higher, but like it's a minimum, which is really, really
Well, it plays into the fact that the corners have certain distances on
them.
So you work out the corners based on the dice.
And it's the realism of you can only drive so slow in 5th gear.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I would play Formula D any time that we have more 6 or more. But I have to say, with 6 people, there are probably games I'd rather play. Formula D. But 7 plus. I don't know if there's a game I would rather play. Possibly, but Codenames is like perfect at 6.
I think the thing that this game solves is when there are the wrong number of people to play most of the games you were planning to play, but most people will be open to playing Formula D.
A few more people turned up than we thought. And you can have a chat while you're playing the game, which is quite like it is a beer and pretzels.
I like any game where you can drink and eat and talk and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Also, so I would play it anytime then. And you'd say
I'd play it. It's one of those games that fits into that whole. Where if you haven't got the right number of people,
and you can make it as long as you want. I mean, I think 2 laps is the perfect length. But I would. If someone said,
I'd be really interested to try. I'd
like
done
to see 3 laps.
I want to try 3 laps, add in a bit of weather and stuff like that.
And the extra tracks you can buy are awesome. Like you've only got bought one of them.
German set.
Chicago.
No. It's one from Florida.
Florida
and Chicago, and those 2 extra maps are just amazing. Like the basic track that you get in the box is really good. The street race is alright.
Yeah, but the
new street races.
Yeah, the second you get that new challenge, it's like, oh, how am I going to approach this?